Hey there, food fans. Ready to rock the kitchen with a meatloaf that'll make your taste buds sing? We're talking about comfort food royalty here. Meatloaf is like the culinary king of the dinner table. It's hearty, it's flavorful, and it's got that grandma's house vibe that just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Now, I know what you're thinking. Meatloaf? Isn't that kinda blah? Wrong. We're gonna ditch the boring and crank up the flavor with a recipe that's off the chain. Get ready for a meatloaf experience that's out of bounds. We're talking juicy meat, awesome seasonings, and a sauce that'll make you want to lick the plate clean. Get ready to unleash your inner chef and create a meatloaf masterpiece that'll have everyone begging for seconds. Let's do this. Alright gang, let's gather our Flavortown approved ingredients. Here's what we need to get this meatloaf party started. Ground beef, the star of the show. We're talking good quality beef here, folks. Breadcrumbs. They add some awesome texture and help bind everything together. Eggs. These little guys act like glue, holding our meatloaf together like a champ. Onion chopped fine, because nobody wants a giant chunk of onion in their meatloaf. Garlic. A little garlic goes a long way in the flavor department. Milk, to soak those breadcrumbs and keep things nice and moist. Seasonings, salt, pepper, paprika, and any other spices your heart desires. Remember, cooking is all about having fun and experimenting. Don't be afraid to add your own personal touch to the mix. A pinch of this, a dash of that, make it your own. Okay, let's get our hands dirty. In a big old bowl, combine all those awesome ingredients we just talked about. Now, here's where things get fun. It's time to get in there and mix it all up. Use your hands, folks. That's right, get in there and really combine everything together. We want all those flavors to get to know each other real well. Just don't overmix it or your meatloaf will end up tough. We're going for tender and juicy, remember? Think of it like this. You're giving all those ingredients a big old bear hug. Show them some love and they'll reward you with a meatloaf that's bursting with flavor. Alright, now that our meatloaf mixture is all mixed up and ready to go, it's time to shape this bad boy into a loaf. Grab a baking sheet and line it with some parchment paper or foil. This will make cleanup a breeze later on, trust me. Now gently pat that meat mixture into a loaf shape. You can make it as big or as small as you like. Just make sure it's not too thin, or it'll dry out in the oven. And don't forget to give it a little pat on top for good luck. See? We're practically meatloaf artists now. Who knew cooking could be so therapeutic? Section 5. Oven time. Alright, it's time to crank up the heat. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. While the oven is heating up, let's give our meatloaf a little spa treatment. Drizzle a little bit of olive oil over the top. This will help keep it nice and moist while it's baking. Now, carefully slide that baking sheet into the oven and bake for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. Keep an eye on it though. Ovens can be fickle beasts, so you might need to adjust the cooking time depending on your oven. While that meatloaf is working its magic in the oven, let's talk about everyone's favorite part, the sauce. Section 6. Don't be a meatloaf meltdown. Hold your horses, meatloaf maestro. Before we get to the saucy goodness, let's talk about some common meatloaf mishaps and how to avoid them. Nobody wants a meatloaf meltdown. First up, dry meatloaf. Nobody wants a mouthful of sawdust, right? The key to avoiding this culinary tragedy is to make sure your meatloaf mixture is nice and moist. That means adding enough liquid, milk, broth, whatever you like, and not overmixing the meat. Another common mistake is undercooking the meatloaf. We don't want any pink surprises in there. Make sure to use a meat thermometer to check the internal temperature. It should be at least 160 degrees Fahrenheit in the center. Section 7. Sauce Boss. Alright, let's talk sauce. The sauce is like the cherry on top of the meatloaf sundae. It's what takes it from good to oh my gosh, this is the best meatloaf I've ever had. Now you can go with a classic ketchup-based sauce, or you can get creative and try something different. BBQ sauce, teriyaki sauce, even a sweet chili glaze would be killer. The sky's the limit, folks. Just remember to slather that sauce on generously. We want every bite to be bursting with flavor. Alright, the moment we've all been waiting for. After about an hour and 15 minutes, or when your meat thermometer reads 160 degrees Fahrenheit, carefully remove the meatloaf from the oven. Let it rest for about 10 minutes before slicing into it. This will give the juices a chance to redistribute, resulting in a more tender and flavorful meatloaf. Now, grab your sharpest knife and slice that bad boy up. Serve it up with your favorite sides, mashed potatoes, gravy, green beans, whatever your heart desires. Not in Flavortown. Alright, let's be real, leftover meatloaf is almost as good as the first time around. You can enjoy it cold, on sandwiches, or even crumble it up and use it in tacos or chili. Get creative with it. There's no wrong way to enjoy leftover meatloaf in Flavortown. Just make sure you store it properly in the fridge so it stays fresh and delicious. Congratulations, you've officially conquered the art of meatloaf. You've created a culinary masterpiece that's sure to impress your friends and family. Remember, cooking is all about having fun and experimenting. Don't be afraid to try new things and put your own spin on this classic dish. Now go forth and spread the meatloaf love. Keep those taste buds guessing and keep on experimenting in the kitchen. Until next time, food fans.